Yes? How are you all today? Good? Today is quite a weather, nice and cool. Did you all sleep in? Yeah. Was over at Renci hospital this morning for the food fair. Yeah. So it was one of y'all picked me up. Then went down to Renci near to Tan Tock Seng. Yeah. That was about, picked me up at around 8. Then went down, reached there about 8:30ish. Then went around. And as always, met a lot of devotees, a lot of students from way back. Yeah. So it was like a gathering. Yeah. Gathering of friends and food. Very gladdened and very touched by the kindness and generosity. Then at about 10 plus, Edmund from Buddhist Fellowship came over and then picked me up. He told me that he actually arrived at 9:30. I was still early. Yeah. So ultimately we left at about 10 plus. We sped from that place to Tanjong Pagar. Reached there about 10:50 something. Yeah. 40 something, 50. And then I gave a talk. We finished at about 12:20, 30. And then another one of them sped us over here. Yeah, so here we are. So what do y'all do in the morning? Breakfast? It's not a bad thing, nor a wrong thing, not to do anything sometimes. Yeah. Sometimes we fill our life up with too much things. Yeah. We should sometimes, on purpose, just do nothing. You know? Just sit there. Like what we always do. No, but consciously not do anything. Yeah. Because sometimes, unconsciously, we tie our self-worth with doing things. You know? Our self-esteem, our self-worth, the value we bring to people, to society, we tie that with doing things. Yeah? And so, if we are suddenly doing lesser, we feel like our self-worth, our value has decreased. Many individuals, when they retire, it happens. People actually just degenerate, you know. They feel they probably feel down, yeah. But sometimes it's hard to pin it down, yeah, because it's like if you ask someone who is in that state, like, are you okay? Yeah, I should be okay. I'm not busy anymore. I have no stress from work anymore. By right, should be happy. But don't know leh. Yeah, so some of this is actually a very deep-seated sense of what self-worth is. And so when that is suddenly taken away, and even though we in Singapore it's quite structured, 60 plus, then you count down. Yeah. But when it really happens, Japan, some 20 years back, they started experiencing that. I saw some journals, some articles about how in Japan, way back, yeah, in the 80s and 90s, they already have depression and suicide cases increasing. Yeah, and it's tied to retirement. It's a sad thing, isn't it? Yeah, having contributed to society all their life, and then at the end of the day, you get your retirement, and then you feel down. Yeah, So it's important to get ready for that. Yeah. But even more importantly, to know that it's okay not to do anything. Yeah. It's okay. Just look at me. 15 years and counting. But that's the perception, isn't it? For some people. For those of you who know me long enough, you know, oh, 谢兄. Do you know what is 谢兄? Don't know. You know it, but behind you don't know. We'll come to you in a while. Then I'll explain to you, okay? Yeah. So in the Buddha's time, there were those who have this notion also. They feel that the Buddha and his monks, or for that matter nuns, are not contributing because they don't do anything. Not something that is measurable in terms of GDP anyway. Yeah. So there was this conversation between the Buddha and this farmer. The Buddha was walking along, and this farmer come along and like question him, you know, like, you ascetic, you all don't deserve food. You don't do any work. Whereas look at us. We plow the field, we tend to the crops, we sow the seeds. I mean, not in that order. Yeah. And then we reap the harvest. So we deserve, you know, all that. What do you do? And so the Buddha's reply was most interesting. The Buddha said, well, we do work also. Our mind is our field. We plow with mindfulness. Yeah? And in this way we reap the benefits. Yeah. So it's not a new notion. It's not a new idea, it's not a Chinese thing or Indian thing. Yeah? In the Buddha's time, there were people who look at cultivators and like, oh, what are you doing? As Buddhists, we may not consciously think in that way. Yeah? Non-Buddhists, some of your friends who are nominal Buddhists, they may feel, they may not consciously say, 师父, but when you tell them you go for retreat, they may say, go for retreat for what? You go there do nothing. Yeah. So sometimes that can be an opportunity for us to start a conversation, yeah, to share with them what nothing entails. And for that matter, what something means, to do something. Yeah, the notion that, oh, if you do something, then it is of more value. Yeah, not always. Yeah. And for that matter, when we so-called do nothing, we're not really doing nothing, isn't it? I mean, for some of you, maybe you are really doing nothing. But in fact, I'll tell you, even if you sit there, if you can really do nothing, that is of high value. Because not everybody can stop their mind from unhappy thoughts. If you can stop your body, speech and mind totally and do nothing, meaning you stop greed, hatred and delusion. And let's not go so far to say stop greed, hatred and delusion, okay? If you can even stop worrying, yeah? Because if you're worrying, you're not doing nothing. If you're really doing nothing, it means you're not worrying. If you can stop worrying, wow. Do you know how many people in the world envy you? Yeah? If you can stop craving, and I'm not talking about the paticca samuppada leading to enlightenment type of craving. I'm just talking about how people crave for a bigger house, crave for a promotion. If you don't crave in that way, then immediately you are a friend to all your colleagues. Because immediately you are not fighting with them for what they also want. So it's not so easy not to do anything as well. And in fact, even if you absolutely do nothing, there's value in that. Let's look at our left side and see who is new here today. Dun, 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 dun. Row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4. Let me see. Anybody who is new here, Oh, left side is all has she introduced before? She has once introduced before, right? 有没有 auntie？ 有哈，来这里开心吗？说开心，开心。强制的，我们这边是不能不开心的。Okay, here all our season parking holder. Right side. Okay. First time here. Come. Tell us your name. Julie Teo. Judy or Julie?
J-U-D-Y.
Judy. Oh.
J-U-D-Y.
Ah.
And my sister.
You came with your sister. The eyes look alike. Yeah, the nose also. Oh, shorter than yours. Shh, don't say out lah. Go back quarrel. Welcome, welcome. Yeah. Okay, let's see who else. Yes, hello. Yes, tell us your name.
Hi, Martina.
Martina.
Nice to meet you.
Hello, nice to meet you. And how did you come to know about this group?
Facebook, I think.
On Facebook?
Yes, online. And
Oh, wow, okay.
it works.
It works. It really works. So are you here like on a trip, or are you working here or resident?
Working here. Yes.
Working here. How long have you been working in Singapore?
2 years.
2 years now. I hope Singapore has treated you well.
Yes.
So you know about the FT thing, right?
Sorry?
FT.
No.
You know what is FT?
No.
You are FT.
Oh, yes.
No. But don't worry. Over here we welcome all. Yeah, welcome. But tell us more, Martina.
Yes.
Martina, where are you from?
Italy.
Italy. Buongiorno. Is it?
Buongiorno.
Buongiorno.
Yes.
I have. Which part of Italy?
From the north, near France.
Near to
the
France?
border with France, yes.
Ah, okay. I had this student, a whole family of them. His name is Gabriel. Yeah, and their old house is at Torino.
Yes. Yes, I studied there.
You studied there
Yes.
also? Ah,
Beautiful city.
yes, beautiful city. Nice. So what do you do in Singapore?
What do I do?
Yeah.
I do research.
Uh-huh.
No. I'm a PhD student.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
You have another friend here? He's a research fellow in NUS.
Yes. I'm not NUS student, but I work, like, the institute where I work is in NUS as well.
Okay, all right. Okay, we'll stop here. We'll not ask you any more questions. Not coming back next week if you ask any more. Welcome.
Thank you.
Oh, and just now, the word I said, "siesiong," yeah, that is not English, that's not Italian, it is Hokkien. So literally, "sie," it means die. "Sie." I just give you the literal first, okay? "Sie" actually means very lah, yeah, very, yeah. Then "siong" means tough. So 四兄 means very tough. Yeah, say 四兄. Louder. Okay. Okay, so you know, at least today you learn one word, 四兄. Okay. Who else is new here? Let me see. Pink blouse. Tell us your name.
我叫吴慧芝。
啊？
吴慧芝。
吴慧芝。吴慧芝小姐，你从哪里来？
我不是从中国来，我是从新加坡。
也是新加坡。
新加坡人。
哦，为什么会用华语
？I don't know, because I like Chinese.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how do you get to know about this group?
From my sister-in-law.
Ex-sister-in-law. Oh, okay. Well, that's very nice. Ex-sister-in-law and still told you about this group.
Yeah, he was my longest sister-in-law.
Things just got very complicated. Wow.
No, in the sense that I have 3 sisters and all were married. Yeah,
Okay.
so him being the eldest sister-in-law.
Sister-in-law or brother-in-law?
Oh, sorry, it's brother-in-law because it's the husband.
Yeah, brother-in-law.
Sorry.
Okay.
Brother-in-law.
Yeah, okay.
I have 3 sisters and he's the oldest one.
I see. Okay. Yeah. Welcome.
Thank you.
吴慧之. Okay. Thank you. Who else is new? New. I think all have been here before. Have you introduced yourself before? No. Behind? Big? Yeah. Have you introduced before? Never, right? She's quite good. She just sit down there. No guilty look like. Come.
Hi everyone, my name is Winnie.
Winnie?
Yeah, I'm currently doing a part-time studies in social work.
Part-time studies in social work. Wow, you're going to become a social worker?
I'm considering.
凶leh. But very, very lofty.
So I'm considering.
Haven't decided yet.
Haven't.
After this class, forget it.
Decided.
Wow, wonderful. Sadhu. And how did you get to know about this group?
FOD.
FOD.
Yes.
Okay, yes. Okay. So FOD, anybody else have not? Any of you have not introduced yourself? Yeah? All introduced already? How about the blue shirt one? Okay,
Hello
right.
everyone, my name is Danny, also in the FOD group.
Teddy or Danny?
Danny.
Nanny.
D-A-N-N-Y.
Danny. Okay. I see.
Nice to meet everyone. Hello.
Hello, welcome. Alright, very good. So, alright, so welcome to SGC where we have short puja, short meditation, and not so short Dhamma sharing. So last week we had a very interesting sharing about right view. We have not completed. That was like an opening, yeah, to give everybody like a teaser, yeah. And we were supposed to continue this week, but this week is the first of the month, the first Sunday of the month. So naturally, then we have our Bodhisattva precepts, yeah. So let's see where we are now. We should be completing the Bodhisattva precepts really soon. Yeah. So let's see. I think we stop here. That is, let me see, not sympathetic. The last time was not sympathetic, right? Yes. So today we are on Precept 36. Precept 36 is very interesting. Yeah. Please note that I didn't write this rule. The precept is not giving wealth. Okay, is this okay? All right, yes, Precept 36, not giving wealth. If a Bodhisattva out of anger or hatred does not give food, drinks, or clothing as requested, this is named a transgression. multiple transgression, a transgression of defiant nature. Yeah, as behind. If acted out of laziness or slackness, such transgression is of undefiled nature. Yeah. So let's take a look. Yeah. How many of you know that we have our SGC online? Oh, just a handful. Do you know that we have SGC online? You still don't know. We do have SGC online. Yeah, so on YouTube, if you go to youtube.com/sgcultivation, then you actually see all the past sessions, yeah, available online. Now, so that's the first thing that is quite exciting. The next thing that is even more exciting is our team of our video team has actually done a fabulous job to come up with excerpts. Yeah. So instead of going through a 1.5 hours to 2 hours clip, yeah, to watch through the whole thing, which is very nice, instead they cut it up, yeah, into topics. Yeah, so different topics. Sometimes in one session I may cover a lot of different things, and so they cut it up into 5 minutes, 8 minutes sequence. Yeah, and then you can actually share that. You can watch that separately or share that with your friends. Yeah, so go and check it out. So, and one of the clip is about what a Bodhisattva is. Yeah, I've gone through numerous times. Yeah, so because this whole series of precepts is about Bodhisattvas. Yeah, the way a Bodhisattva should be or shouldn't be. Yeah, but it's, as I've mentioned every time, the precept itself, the principle itself, does apply to each and every one also. Yeah, as far as those who care about others. If a person utterly do not care about anyone, yeah, then okay, this is not for you. But if you even care for one person, then this is for you. Yeah, let's take a look. If a Bodhisattva, out of anger or hatred, does not give food, drinks, or clothing as requested, this is named a transgression. I'm going to cover the rest later. So here, context is if a Bodhisattva. And as I've said, if you are someone who cares for anyone, then that applies to you also. Yeah. And in this case, what does the Bodhisattva do? Out of anger or hatred. So this person is overwhelmed, overcome by anger or overcome by hatred. Yeah, so doesn't feel good about another person, not happy with that person. And as a result, what does the person do? This person, this Bodhisattva, does not give food, drinks, or clothing. Yeah? So, food and drinks support our body. Clothing then protects us from the elements. Now, if someone were to request food, drinks, or clothing from you, would you give it to them? Say yes. Yes. I hope so. Yeah. But think about it. Actually, today, if let's say you are at home, let's say you are not alone, and then someone come to the door and knock on your door, and you open up, and the person like tell you that he's lost and he just needs some water, would you give the person water? You would, isn't it? Yeah. What if after opening the door and then giving water, 3 other person come in and then rob you? Yeah. And what if it doesn't happen to you? It happened to your neighbor, and then the next day, someone knock on your door and ask for water. Would you still open your door and just don't open the door, right? Just open the door, but not the gate. In fact, take a few more locks and lock up the gate, and then take out the knife and what do you want? Here it's not out of fear. This context is not out of fear. Okay, but we want to also. I want to get everybody to think about other contexts. Yeah, here the context is out of anger or hatred. Yeah. Seems quite kind of odd, yeah. But are there such cases? Here it only talks about food, drinks, and clothing, yeah. But the main title is giving wealth. That means you are not rendering material aid to a person. For that matter, it can be even immaterial aid. Yeah? Someone asks you for help, and because you're not happy with that person, like especially nowadays, right? Someone send you a text, then you see the headline, then you don't open it and you don't read. Yeah. Do we do that? Okay, don't answer. A bit sensitive. But it happens, isn't it? Yeah. Basically, we reject requests for help. Do we do that sometimes? Unfortunately, sometimes we do that, isn't it? Yeah. And sometimes these words, anger or hatred, is quite strong, yeah? Especially hatred. Yeah. Sometimes we reject people for lesser reasons, simply because share with you another word. You come for this class, you don't just learn Dharma, you learn Hokkien as well. Bui song. Say bui song. No. My friend, it's not bui song. Bui song. Try. No, I'm not. Don't worry. You have my word. I'm not making a fool of you. Okay? This is the correct pronunciation. I know it sounds strange. It sounds like I'm making a fool, but no. This is the correct pronunciation. Bei song. Or bui song or bei song. Huh? More. Yeah. More or less that. Yeah. So when you go to work next time, and let's say you're not happy about something, and your boss asks you, what's up? Bei song. Whoa. Yeah. I tell you, then respect go up. Yeah. And then if let's say if you ask your colleague for a favor and your colleague just like brush you off, then you ask, bei song behind it becomes a question. Bei song and you must do this. Yeah, your face and your head. And it must be in sequence. You cannot say bei song It must be together. Bei song This took 43 years of practice. Anyway, and this is the thing, sometimes even for just this bit of bei song, yeah, a bit unhappy, then it doesn't have to lead to anger or hatred. Yeah, it doesn't have to even lead to such intense emotions. Sometimes for much smaller things, we may refuse some help. Yeah, and it may not even be as tangible as giving food, drinks, or clothing. Yeah, that we will even, when asked for a smaller favor than food, drinks, or clothing. I mean clothing, come on. What if the person asks you for Louis Vuitton or something, Yeah, asks you for LV bag, Hermes bag, Amy, or whatever me. Yeah, so even for lesser things, people would have rejected. Yeah. So if you look at this precept, it is actually talking about quite severe cases. But I would say, even if you do it on a milder level, it would count as well. Yeah, so this is about checking again our intent, yeah, our intention. When we say no to others, yeah. Why do we say no to others? Yes? Yes, please do.
A few months back, I was at Ang Mo Kio Central around before 10 a.m.
Yes.
And this looks like Chinaman. He was leaning against the shop house that haven't opened yet.
Oh.
So he was like that.
Is he real or is he not real?
He keep on like that.
Oh, you mean his condition, whether his condition is real or not? No, not that he as a person. Okay.
But after that, I think I myself go and check on him in case it is really something very bad.
Right.
It might cause him death. Right? So I asked him, what happened to you? Then he said, I'm looking for a job here and then I have a fall. So I heard this. But then he showed me there's some stitches over here, some like before done some operation like that.
Oh.
I had this thing, so I heard this, I'm so pain. I said, you want or not? I bring you to the nearby. There's a SATA, I think medical.
Yeah.
And I said, you want? I bring you there. That one very expensive. I said, it's okay. I pay for you. You want or not? I bring you there. Usually I went to my place around Yishun. He was saying, I see the doctor. He charged me only about $30. But I said, I'm not giving you money. If you want, I bring you there. I pay for you, it's okay.
Right.
It's okay, thank you. Then I don't give him money, so I walk away. But then I was feeling whether I'm doing right or I'm doing wrong. So I talked to one of our sisters here. See, in the first place, I hesitated because I'm thinking, is he out to cheat or not? So the sister said, no, I think he's not going to cheat. Then I feel so guilty that I have this thinking in the first place.
Okay.
So I didn't give him money at all.
Okay.
I don't know, I don't know.
So you feel guilty for not giving him money, but you did offer to.
Yeah, because there is a clinic nearby.
Yeah.
SATA, something like that.
Yeah. So first of all, I want to commend you on two things. The first thing is to even consider to approach him and talk to him. He didn't approach you, you approached him.
Yeah, I approached him.
Yeah, so that's wonderful.
Quite quiet in the morning. Most of the shops haven't opened. That's why he was cleaning against one of the shop houses. And he was like that. So I don't know whether he's acting or he's real or he's...
Okay, yeah.
I walk away, then I think I better come and check on him. So I said, what happened to you?
Okay, yeah.
I offered to help him.
Yeah.
I said, I pay for you, it's okay, I pay for you. But I'm not giving you money. I was telling him
So the first thing I want to comment on your action is that you took the first step to care for someone who is a complete stranger. Give her a round of applause. Sadhu. Yeah. And the second thing I want to comment is that you didn't just out of that emotion of, oh, poor thing, then just, how much you want? $300? Yeah, that is actually not always the best thing, regardless of whether they are out to cheat us or not. Even those who are sincerely in need of help can become corrupted when too many people throw them money. Yeah, there's this thing called beggar's culture. Yeah, I've seen some documentaries. One of them, an African lady, actually speak up against foreign aid. Yeah, she suggests something that's rather interesting. She says that part of the reason, not the whole reason, part of the reason why a lot of African states are still in their dire state is partly because of foreign aid. Yeah, not totally, partly, because if you think about it, like in Singapore, if you work hard, you can make a living. But now if you just happen to go out in a t-shirt that's a bit torn, and you are waiting for a bus, and suddenly someone come and give you $500. You'll be like, why are you giving me $500? And they said, take it. And then before a bus arrives, three other person come over and one person pass you $1,000, another person. Then before you can even go to the hawker center, you already have $2,000 in your hand. I mean, if you think about it, right? If this actually happened, not that it will happen, please don't go and find our worst t-shirt and go around. But can you see where this is going to lead to? It will lead to people just thinking like, Why do I bother going to office and then bearing with my boss and then deal with my colleagues and then do work so hard? No, especially, I mean, to have a few $1,000s over a few minutes is ridiculous lah. Let's say you get a few $100s or even $80. Yeah. Now for a working executive, it would be like you're looking down on me. But if a person is doing manual work, yeah, in a day maybe they earn $50, $40, and now if somebody just offer him $50 out of the blue, it becomes very tempting not to do work, but just to beg, and maybe you can, hey, on a good day maybe beg more than you earn. Yeah, so this thing about beggar culture, yeah. So what you have done, the second thing is to use your wisdom. Yeah, it's one thing to. I know it can feel like, oh yeah, I should have just given, but it's actually a wise thing, not just for yourself, but for the individual as well, and not just to guard against those who are out to con, but to protect two other persons. One, to protect the next person who is kind. Two, to protect the next person who really need help. Yeah. Because if enough people are out there conning, and then we just give, you encourage people to con. And as a result, in future, people who are kind will not want to give. And those who really need help will end up not getting help. So you're protecting two other people.
Actually, a lot of people out there to con. Really, a few years back, a man also approached us, me and my late husband. I don't have transport to go back. Then my husband said, when you stay, I bring you back, because he was standing next to his car, so he think maybe he want to try to con something. He said, no lah, I just want to take a taxi back. So in the end,
taxi back.
In the end we didn't give him.
Say, I take easy link card, or you can take taxi. Or no easy link card now. Now it's transit link.
That's why he keeps saying I stay in Yishun there, the clinic, the doctor charged me very cheap. For everything, only $30. And I also tell him, so, I'm not giving you money. If you want, I bring you there.
Yes.
It's okay, I will pay for you.
Yes.
Then he said, it's okay, 谢谢.
Yeah. Well, I must also say that for this man, at least he's not pushy lah. There are others who will keep on saying, hey, don't like that lah, just give me $30. Some would just outrightly.
If he say that, I will just walk off.
Yeah. So if he had said that, you probably won't feel so bad. Ironically. Yeah. So don't worry about that. Yeah. Again, give her a round of applause. So the mitigating factor here is it out of anger or hatred? Yeah. Is it because you basong with that person? So then that is different. Okay, that's different. Okay? Yeah. So we can consider, on one hand, when to give, on the other hand, when not to give. And if we don't give, what is our intent? This is about what drives our decision. Yeah. It's not simply about the act of not giving. Yeah. Otherwise, then you cannot sleep. Because if you fall asleep, then you are not giving ma. Yeah. Like now, you are sitting here, attending Dhamma, but are you giving? You're not giving anything. What? Is it wrong? No. Yeah. It's not simply about the act of non-giving. It's about why you don't give. Okay. Yeah. You'll find that a lot of the Bodhisattva precepts is about the mental process. Yeah. It's about intent. Whereas if you look at the Sravaka precepts, it's less about intent, yeah, not totally non as well, but more about the actions of body and speech. Here it talks about the act, yeah, but it starts off with the intent. Yeah. So what happens if it's not out of anger or hatred? Yeah. So here it says, this is named a transgression, and as I've shared before, In a way, it's a transgression against the precepts, but really, it's about a transgression against ourselves, against our intent to help others, against our own kind heart. Yeah. So all these precepts serve to really help preserve our kind heart, our compassionate heart. So this is the name of transgression, multiple transgression. Why multiple? It means that if you do it 10 times, it's 10 transgression, not one. Yeah? It's a transgression of default nature. Why? Because it is acted out of anger and hatred. However, sometimes maybe it is not. If acted out of laziness or slackness, such transgression is of undefault nature. Still a transgression, but not a default nature. Yeah, not of default nature. The difference being that your motivation is different. Yeah, one is through defilements. Yeah, that means your heart itself is impure. Impure towards who? Towards the recipient. The second case here is it is acted out of laziness or slackness. Yeah. So maybe you're very tired or something. But there are other cases where it doesn't even count as a transgression. Non-transgression, if one does not have what is requested. If the person asks you for a Volvo car, but sorry, no Volvo car. Or you can get the Matchbox Volvo car. If the other party requests for illegal items, Bodhisattva is law-abiding. Yeah, you go to the same shopping mall, and then this guy asks you, "Hey, miss, ganja. Cannot, no. So if the requested item is not beneficial to the other party, this is most interesting. The person may ask for something, but it's not good for that person. Yeah. Key thing here, it has to be objectively not good. Yeah. Like some people, when they don't like certain food, then they feel like nobody should eat it. And that is not the case here. Okay? Just because you don't like the food doesn't mean other people cannot eat it. Yeah. Let's all take a deep breath. Let's all raise our shoulders and then raise it up. Raise. Feel better? Okay. We had a very heavy breakfast or brunch in a way in the morning because at Renci Food Fair, yeah, there was so much food, so much food. I think there's still some food that we brought over. So it's behind. Did you all help yourself to the food just now? No. No, After this, you all can help yourself some more. And then there was another bag. Yeah, here. This is the one. From Buddhist Fellowship. Yeah. So that is 3 servings. Yeah. So in line with this precept, come, request, I'll give. Okay. So, if one uses skillful means, causing the other party's defilements to be subdued, as has been said in Precept 6. So this is what we have gone through before. Sometimes, refusing a person's request can cause that person to take a step back, can cause that person to ponder, why? Yeah? Why is it that they are being rejected this time? So implicit in this means that in all likelihood, you have been helping this person. You have been offering material wealth or help. Yeah. If you have never helped, every time the person asks, you say no, then this will not work. Yeah. This is where you know by rejecting that person, it will cause the person to rethink. Yeah. And it is that you see this person, say, with certain bad behaviors or wrong view or wrong attitude or something, And so now when the person requests for help, you say, no, sorry, nope, not this time. I reject. Yeah. But you must do it in a skillful way that can help the person to reflect. Only then is it not a transgression. Okay? If you have always been rejecting, yeah, person A asks you no, person B asks you no, 300% asks you no, 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 no. Then, the next person asks you, then you think, let me use skillful name. No. Yeah? The person will not reflect. Because the person will think, this person shouldn't have wasted my time. Yeah? Whoever asks him or her, the person's answer is always no. Yeah? So, implicit in this, it also means that you must have help before. If, I thought I pressed. Okay. If the other party has broken the law and not giving wealth to him is in conformance to the legal system, wow, quite amazing, huh? This is translated recently by myself and one of the Dharma brother, but this Chinese text was translated 1,000 over years ago. Yeah. So the precepts actually respect the law. Yeah. So I think you are more familiar with this kind of things. Like if someone broke the law, what kind of case would fall into this? If the other party has broken the law and not giving wealth to him is in conformance to the legal system. Yeah. So let's say this person, I don't know, embezzled company's fund and then transferred it to you and then tell you, hey, later you transfer back to me. What must you do? Keep it yourself. Please. Give to 师父. No, please don't. Don't get me into trouble. Yeah. What you should do is go and do a declaration. Yeah. Please don't bring it to a police post. Yeah. Go and withdraw everything and then go to police post and say, oh, this one has to be what? You're tempting the police. I'm not saying that, police in a police post are corrupted. I'm not implying that. For the records, I'm not implying that. Yeah, but sometimes, 好心做坏事. Yeah, with the best intent, we do things that cause people harm, tempt people. Yeah. If you just bring $50 there, yeah, is $50 enough to tempt someone? Sometimes when it's so small, it's even more tempting, because it may, $50, unless, think about it. Let's say you pick up $50 from the ground, from the floor. Would you go to the trouble of finding the nearest police post and then submitting a police statement? That means you need to fill up a detailed form declaring that you NRIC number yeah, on the what is today's date? On the 1st of October, yeah, at 2:33 p.m. yeah, at 43 Lowland Road, yeah, and you found $50 on the floor, yeah. As there were no one in the vicinity, you could not find the owner, and now you are surrendering this to the state, yeah, to deal with it, yeah. And you must get the person to countersign, and you get a receipt, yeah. Then it will be locked into the system. If you just pass to the police, hey, I had too troublesome lah, $50, can you help me settle it? Can. Yeah, don't tempt people this way, okay? Whereas if you bring, let's say, $10,000, well, it's a big sum, yeah. As much as we think bigger sum is more tempting, sometimes because it's a bigger sum, it may deter that person like, wow, such a big sum, better deal with it properly. Yeah, and may even say, hey, you better don't go, you better sign all the forms. Yeah, so we have to be careful. So in any case, I hope you all don't get into this kind of situation. Yeah, but if anyone suddenly use PayNow and send it to you, yeah, or send you $10,000, don't be too happy. Yeah, better go and find out who sent it to you. If in order to uphold motions passed by the Sangha, this is also discussed before, if the community has already decided this person should not be given certain things, yeah, so then because of that, you support, uphold the motions, the decisions that has been made. Now, Sangha here, strictly speaking, refers to the monastic Sangha. But the word Sangha also means assembly, the community. So, taken as it is, just as a word, then it means any group decision that has been made, that you are part of. This is something that time and again I must share. I've mentioned before about the before meeting and after meeting. Yeah, Martino. Is it Martino? Martina. Martina. Do you know about the before meeting and after meeting? You don't know. 2 years. Oh my goodness. In Singapore, there's the before meeting and after meeting. Yeah. So the before meeting is where part of the discussion is done. Yeah. And during the meeting, usually there's no discussion. Yeah. You may, it depending on your organization. Yeah. Many times you ask around for feedback or comments. Everybody, oh, it's okay. Yeah, I'm good. And then after the meeting, oh. And this is part of the problem. That when we talk about motions passed by the Sangha, this is very official. Yeah, this is the formal term for the monastic community. But if you extend that to any group you're part of, then it means that if you're part of this group, and this group has gone through the proper procedure to decide on something, then you should uphold it. You should respect the decision that has been made, in other words. In this case, then if the decision is not to give something to that person or that group, then you should not give. You cannot say, when the person asks, actually they don't want, but hey, don't tell them, I give you. If you do that, then you're basically, going against the group decision. Yeah. So this is something that actually recurs in various precepts. Community decision supersede our own decision. If you have any thoughts about to give or not to give, it should have been raised and tabled and checked during the discussion. Yeah. But the trouble is, we Chinese, will we speak up? We don't want to say. Say then later, 做排狼, or tear the face. We say then later the person is not happy with us. Already people say don't want to give. Then you say why cannot give? Why I want to give? Yeah. So there's two extremes. One, just keep quiet, but later still disagree. Two, open up, discuss, and people already come out, go through all the discussion, and already decided. Then during meeting, we still want to discuss. That as long as it's not according to our way, we want to discuss and not let the discussion stop. And that is also wrong. Democracy is not that. Yeah. Democracy is not where, you just keep on discussing until the cow come back. Yeah. What's the conclusion? Not my conclusion. Continue discussion. Discuss. Yeah. How? Agree or not? Don't agree. Continue discussing. Cannot. This is not democracy. This is actually a perverted form of democracy. This is actually autocracy. Yeah. Masquerading as democracy, where we just keep on insisting on our way. This is actually wrong. Democracy means And in fact, another thing about democracy is, let's say there's 5% involved. Yeah? Each person raise your own point that is unique. Unique, huh? Each unique point can be raised only once. Raising one unique point 10 times doesn't make it into 10 points. Yeah? It just becomes noise. Yeah? And after you have raised your point, if there's merit, it will stand. And if others demolish your point, you must support, you must come up with evidence and arguments and, to support, to prove why yours is true. If counter arguments are given and you cannot refute it, then we must accept that, okay, I guess I was wrong. Then maybe you raised 2 unique points, one was demolished, then left how many? Left 1 point. Yeah, we cannot just ignore people's discussion and then just repeat it again, as though repeating it makes it true. Cannot. But this is a bit off topic. A bit off topic. But why do I still raise it? Because sometimes our frustration in life has nothing to do with Mara. Our frustration in life is not so big, such big matters. It's because we sometimes forget about this kind of social contract. Yeah? How to have meaningful discussions with others. Yeah? To understand people's point of view while asserting, our view and not become over-insistent. Yeah? This is something that even myself, I'm beginning to learn. Yeah? And to appreciate that, oh yeah, sometimes even when someone has an opposing view that you don't agree, yeah, it's quite interesting to just hear and say, oh yeah, wow, okay, and really know why the person think in this way without agreeing. Many times we think that if we listen, then we must agree. No. We should still listen. We should know what people's stand is. And after reflecting, we may still not agree, but at least we know what we disagree. If we never listen to what people say, then what are you disagreeing with? So the first step of conversation is to listen. You need to listen, then you can decide. No? So let's look at the Chinese text to see whether there are any nuances that we have to go through. Precept number 36. 不施财戒第36。若菩萨有求饮食衣服，以嗔恨心，不能给祭施，是名为犯众多犯，是犯扰其。若懒惰懈怠，犯非扰其。不犯者 okay, let's just go through that later. So this is, let me see, is there anything that is, I think most are pretty straightforward as per the previous one. Yeah, 若菩萨, if a Bodhisattva 有求饮食, yeah, someone requests from you food and drinks, 衣服, so food and drinks and clothes, yeah, basically the kind of basic necessities. Yeah, 以嗔恨心, yeah, so anger and hatred. Yeah, 不能济施, so this usually 念给, can also be 念给, yeah, so to give, basically means to give. 是名为犯众多犯, 是犯扰其. Yeah, so this is what I mentioned about the transgression. Yeah, it's a transgression, and if you do it multiple times, multiple transgression. 是犯扰其 is a transgression of default nature. 若懒惰懈怠，犯非扰其. So if it's due to laziness or slack, then it's of undefault nature, but it's still a transgression. Then the rest is the non-transgression clause. 不犯者，若自无, yeah, if you don't have it, 若求非法物, request for illegal items, 若不益彼物, yeah, so if you give that person and it doesn't benefit that person, 若 若以方便令彼调伏，如前说。So if by not giving, if by not giving you actually cause the person to reflect and change. 若彼犯王法，护王义故，若护生智。So this, the original Chinese translation don't just use law. It says 王法, because back in India and also in ancient China, the legal system or the governance system, is a form of monarchy. So whereas today in Singapore we are a republic, so we have constitution, we have statutes, and so on governing the state. So today it's not Wang Fa. Wang means king or emperor. So in ancient times, if you are under monarchy, whatever the king says goes. So in today's context, it's not the president, it's the Constitution of Singapore. That's why it's so important, the statutes. It defines the contract between the people, the state, and the governing body. Without this contract, well, what is there to protect our interests? This contract actually protects the interests of the state and the people. And defines and outlines the boundaries, the limitations of power, that is vested in the government, in the governing body, through our votes cast.若户生智. See, sometimes Chinese can be so short and sweet. 若户生智, 4 characters. To protect to uphold the decision that has been made by the Sangha. So, there's one other precept that has some link to this. In this case, this precept is about not giving. The earlier part, there are some precepts about not receiving. So it's quite interesting. There are circumstances where when people invite you for a meal, invite you for something, and you refuse it. What are those circumstances? Why do we refuse it? Is it because? Beisong, If simply out of Beisong, not happy, unhappy with that person, and you just say no. Refusing invitation is a transgression. Or if you arrive and then you refuse to accept it, it's also a transgression. So one is you shouldn't reject people offering you. The other one is if people request from you, you shouldn't reject as well. Connected to these precepts, the Buddha actually gave the teachings on how to remove conflict between people. If you all recall, how to remove it? A very direct way. Usually we think, we radiate metta. That's part of the practice. But another part of the practice is, if you have conflict with someone, you buy them gifts. You buy them gifts. And then if that person buy you gifts, you accept. So interesting. Sounds almost very worldly, but it is about nurturing a sense of goodwill towards that person. And if you can do that, then of course it will be resolved. So if any of you have any conflict with me, have a lot. No conflict. Okay, that's all we have for today. It is 2:37. Do you have any questions? Any questions or thoughts? I was very tempted to cover a bit about the view. So should we? Since we still have a bit of time. Yeah. So they all remember? Any questions? No questions? Anybody have questions? So last week, we will just go for another 10 minutes. Yeah, we have 20 minutes actually before time. Yeah. So last week we talked about right view, and one of the things that came up was is there a creator God? Yeah, is the world created by a God? Yeah. In Italy, most are Roman Catholics. Yeah. So for Asian society, when it is this kind of things, right, then we tend don't talk about it, don't talk. Yeah, but Sifu, what do I care? Let's talk about it, man. Yeah, there's a difference between discussing it versus condemning it. Yeah, I don't personally condemn the belief in a creator God. What I do, should I say condemn? What I do frown upon is if people take any ideas for that matter, any belief for that matter, and try to shove it down people's throat. Yeah. That shoving itself, I don't agree with. Yeah, I frown upon. If I dare say condemn, yeah. Views, you can have any views, you can have any beliefs, no problem. Unless your belief itself is harmful. Yeah. You believe in killing everybody. Oh, of course, we should say no to that. Yeah. Other than that, yeah, you're free to believe anything you want. Yeah. As long as it doesn't harm people, why should I restrict your belief? Yeah, it's your choice. That's why it's called a belief. Yeah. As long as you don't declare your belief as a fact and not be able to prove it and still insist that because it's a fact, everybody must accept it, then it's okay. Yeah. So in Buddhism, there are some parts is also initially belief, yeah, like 6 realms. Yeah, I've mentioned before, we can immediately say there's human realm and animal realms. But how many of us have seen ghosts? And again, let's not go there. Everybody gets so excited about ghosts. Yeah, talk about nirvana, ghosts. So while we haven't seen ghosts, we believe that there are ghosts. Some people don't believe. Yes? And that's the thing about Buddhism. Even if you don't believe in ghosts, believe in the existence of ghosts, yeah, it's okay. Well, what do I care? Yeah? If you don't believe that there is hell or heaven, the important thing I ask people is, today is Thursday. On Thursday, I gave a talk at SMU. And a student who was sending me back and forth, he asked me along the way about future life and past life. Yeah. So, in the end, when he dropped me off, I told him this. I said, to me, it's more important what your belief do to you. When you have the belief of future life, or the absence of such a belief, does it compel you to do good or evil? To me, that is the more important question than whether there is future or past life at all. And in fact, if you look at the Kalama Sutta, that's the Buddha's stand. Yeah? He don't go around saying, oh, you must believe in past life, or if you don't believe, or what. No. Because ultimately, it's what do you do with that belief? Yeah? So I would go as far as to say, well, last week we talked about Creator God and so on. Yeah. So we went through a few cases. Someone mentioned about how there should be someone who created this world. Yeah. Otherwise, how did this world come about? Then someone over here then said, but does it even matter? But there was also someone who asked the question, if the world needs someone to create, then how about the creator? Yeah, I think that you asked that question. Yeah, so there were about 3 to 4 stands. Yeah, so then I think I asked you all to go and think about it, right? Yeah. So have you all thought about it? Huh? Anybody thought about it? Yes. So anything to share? Oh, you did research, huh? Oh, okay. Wow. Do you want to bring it over? Come. Well, give her a round of applause. I say. See, at least someone did homework. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because actually, I'm born as a Catholic, so I also read Bible before. Yeah.
Wow.
So I compare these three things.
She prepared even more than me. She would just come over here, visualize it, take a piece of paper, draw, right. Oh, okay. Yes.
Because this is our scientific point of view,
Yes.
the Big Bang Theory, right?
Yes.
And biblical, because I grew up as a Catholic, and because now I'm learning Buddhist.
Yes.
Why am
Ah,
I
take a deep breath. Give her another round of applause. Yay!
Makes me more.
Oh, okay. Come. Sit down. Take it easy. Okay, lie.
I just short list,
Okay.
because I already read this through, so I just compare. Okay, for the biblical theory, right, it's supernatural. Yeah, so when I compare these three, seems like the Buddhist belief and the Big Bang Theory get similarity.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Okay.
it all comes from contract.
Expansion and contraction.
Yeah, expansion and construction. Then there's the summary.
Wow.
Can you see that?
Yes.
So then after search, then I go through this Anatta Sutta.
Yes. Aganya Sutta.
Aganya
Yes.
Sutta, yeah.
Yes, very good. Yes, it talk about this cycle.
Of the universe.
Yes. Wow.
I think you can see it's more clear than I talk, right? So you can just see it makes me feel nervous in front. But in my belief now, after going through this research, I believe that there's no creator.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
It just arises by itself, true condition.
True conditions.
Yeah.
She quickly said, I don't believe. Okay, go. Cannot, we must examine this. No, but I must say I'm very impressed with firstly, the time that she take to, wait, did you do this from last week? Or actually 10 years ago you did this already?
No, just last week.
Just last week, huh?
Because I
Wow.
keep thinking about it, yeah. Because I grew up in biblical, then I just set it aside. Yeah, set it aside. And now you bring it up again, then it makes me think, yeah. Is there a really creator?
Yes. And so because of last week's session, so she went to do some research and she found all this information. Yeah.
It's very
Not one page, no, not 2 pages. 4 or 5 pages, 4 pages.
But
Yeah.
the summary is in front. Just to this one is too
Oh,
brief for
those
it.
are details.
Yeah, this is the comparison of the three.
And this is the other thing that I like. It wasn't just an emotional investigation. It was a comparison. Yeah, and that's one thing that I can't overemphasize. To compare 3 different things, you need to put them side by side. And then you need to, as close as possible, put them together and have an apple-to-apple comparison. Yeah. So let's just very briefly take a look. So here in the Chatuka Kappa Sutta, this is talking about the different aeons. Yeah. 增劫, 减劫, all the how the world goes through cycles where it expands and it contracts, it increases in that's what we call the increasing period and then the decreasing period and so on. Yeah, and so we have samata titati, vivata titati. Yeah, so collapsing universe or big crunch, collapsed universe or black hole, Okay, an expanding universe or Big Bang, an expanded or steady state universe.
Which is now.
Which is now. And then in the Bible, earth before the sun. Yes, this is how it's described, right? Then light on earth before the sun. Earth before the stars. Yeah. Then 6,000-year-old universe. And this is what the Bible Belters purport, right? Not subject to change, inspired by a perfect God. Then the Big Bang, sun before the earth, yes. Sun before light on earth. Stars before the earth. 13.7 billion-year-old universe. Yeah, I love this. Subject to change and may be totally rejected for a different model. Invented by fallible men. Yeah, this is most interesting. Any questions that you want to ask? Before our researcher go back. Yeah, and you see, it's not simply Buddhism and Christianity here. It is from her own finding, yeah. And she didn't look for me, and she actually found this sutta, Aganya Sutta. Yeah, I mentioned it a few times in some classes, yeah, where it describes the cycle. And she didn't just stop there, and she brought in the scientific theories, yeah, explaining how things come about. Incidentally, the Big Bang Theory, I like the fact that she put down here, subject to change and may be totally rejected for a different model. Usually in religion, we are very afraid for our beliefs to be challenged. Because if it's challenged and proved to be wrong, then it means that we have to give up everything that we have believed in. Now in science, this is not the case. Yeah? It's exciting if you can find something that is different from what has been the status quo. But what about Buddhism? There was one conference where there were scientists, neurologists, and they were having a discussion with the Dalai Lama. Now, the Dalai Lama is not a Buddhist leader of the whole world, but he's a respected Buddhist leader within the Tibetan tradition. Yeah. Now, although it's a different tradition, I personally think that he is a person, a Buddhist leader, who have made an impact in the Buddhist circle. Yeah. And if you were to attend his talks and read through his books, yeah, and sometimes, most interestingly, listen to the interviews, you'll find that, yeah, it's pretty inspiring. And one of the discussion was, the scientists asked, what if one day, he asked the Dalai Lama, what if one day science discovers something that refute the Buddhist teaching? What would you do? Or what would Buddhism do? And the Dalai Lama's reply kind of cemented, or like it was quite a shocker in the whole religious world. Maybe not so much for Buddhists, maybe for some Buddhists. His reply was simply, well, if such a discovery is made, then we have to go and take a look at our teachings and revise it. Yeah? I think for many religions, like that's travesty, you know. That is blasphemy to even talk about that. But he says we're going to do that, not just talk about that. We're going to go and have to do that. Now, I must openly tell you this. Not all Buddhists agree with that. Yeah, not all Buddhists agree with that. But if you look at how the various council has been conducted, we are not of the opinion that, oh, whatever is inside the teachings must be absolute, like absolute truth, and nobody can challenge it. And that's why in my own class, I often sort of half joke, half serious about how our exercise, let's say I'm teaching about emptiness, yeah. Instead of asking you to go and look for emptiness, I say you try to find something that refute this teaching. And I say oftentimes in Heart Sutra that If you can find something that refute the teachings of emptiness, then come and, inform me. Even if it's 3 a.m., text me. Yeah? And then we'll call everybody and really thoroughly discuss and, make sure it's correct. And if it's correct, wow, we're going to call for the 7th council. We're going to inform all the different traditions, all the different countries to come for a meeting, a council. And we'll declare to them, well, our dear esteemed Venerable, Mahasangha, Mahatera, very happy to have everybody here. We have here Cheryl, who discovered, not yeah, but imagine if she discovered something, right? Instead of this, she discovered something that opposes, the teachings. We will not, we will be quite excited, really. At least I will be quite excited, that wow. Yeah, and so this is there's that similarity, in approaches, And she thinks she wants to quickly go back to her seat now. Is there anything, like, besides, in the process, besides coming to the conclusion or coming to a point where you say, wow, I guess the belief of a creator is invalidated, Is there anything you would like to share with them in the process of, discovery?
Okay, actually when I was young, right, I questioned this, but in our religion, if you ask question, it's like, oh, you doubted God. You are not faithful enough to believe. Yeah, so I just keep it aside. Because it makes me think, when God created the world, and the last thing that He created is the human, and He said to the human, go and multiply, then that makes me think, how they multiply? We just, the creator. So there's a lot of questions, but then I set it aside. And during my primary study, I think this one really interests me, but I set it aside.
You also set it aside?
Yeah, because at the time, my teacher said, this is just a theory. We still believe in God because we are living in a Christian country, a Catholic country,
Okay.
Yeah, then I compare. You see the starting of the universe is actually from nothing. Then this is the actual this formation of the universe, which is more logical. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Can I keep this here first, in case if any of them would like to come and read? Yeah. So the last thing, the one thing I want to perhaps touch on here is, while we look at, when we hear Cheryl share about her own discovery, coming from a background, an environment with in Catholicism, in Christianity, and then she had certain questions, but at that age, then she just put it aside. Yeah, I want to highlight something. I want to pose this question now to each and every one of you. How many times do we also do the same thing about Buddhism? That maybe there are some parts that we can't quite understand or we don't quite agree, but we also just put it aside. Now, for me to say this, it can be quite dangerous, because for her, she put it aside, and now when she come back and examine it, she come to the conclusion, to her own understanding that this may not be so valid as well. When I tell you, how about us? How about us as far as Buddhism is concerned? It may lead you to your own discovery that, hey, maybe there are some parts that's not so true. Will it? I'm not saying there is, but I'm saying, what if there is? And the thing is, as long as we don't go and investigate, it will always be a question mark. No invalidation doesn't mean validation. Just because we don't go and ask a difficult question on our own teachings And so we don't have to face the possibility of whether it's true or not. Doesn't make it true. It just means we don't know. And don't know is exactly the opposite of enlightenment. Because in Buddhism, to become enlightened, you cannot don't know. You cannot don't know and simply just believe. You need to know. You must know, and in fact, know for yourself. Not simply because Shifu knows, Shifu tell me, then I know. Not because Buddha know, Buddha tell the disciple, disciple tell disciple, disciple pass down, 2,600 later pass down to Shifu, then Shifu tell you, then you know. That's also not good enough. That is what we call knowledge. Yeah? Enlightenment is not just about passing down knowledge. Yeah? It's about knowing for yourself. So the knowledge in Buddhism is personal knowledge, where you know for a fact, yeah, you see for a fact, you see it as it is. In the past, I always read the books and then it says, see the Arahant, the noble disciple, see it as it is. Oh, see what? I wear specs here, I cannot see. Do I need some special glasses? Over time, I start to appreciate. It literally means that you experience it. You have personal knowledge, yeah? Not just because someone told you. Oh. So I want to thank again Cheryl for doing this. But I want to extend this invitation to each and every one of you, yeah, to do your own investigation. Not just about creation, but about other parts of the teachings. Yeah. How true is it? Go and question, go and investigate. Ehi Pasiko. Come and see for yourself. Put our palms together. 愿消三障诸烦恼，愿得智慧真明了，普愿罪障悉消除，世世常行菩萨道。阿弥陀佛。起立。